It's finished at Old Trafford. Manchester United 1, Chelsea 1, which means we've now had our worst ever start to a Premiership / Premier League season. In 13th place, still to a -3 goal difference. Goals, the first one, scored by us, Bruno Fernandes on the spot, and then a fantastic equaliser by Caicedo on the edge of the area to make it 1 apiece. As far as I'm concerned, there's more questions than answers. And we've shown so far in the early stage of the season that we should have got rid of that bald-headed bastard, Erik ten Hag. We can still salvage the season, but we need to get our skates on. We should never, ever have given Ten Hag a new contract. I said that we'll be hovering around the relegation zone, right? And that is what's currently happening. It was a better performance than previous, but the decision not to sack him was 100% the wrong decision. And it's a shame because Ineos started off fantastic. But in terms of performance on the pitch, we were bright, we were breezy. I expect us to have most of the ball at Old Trafford. It's nothing new. I thought Chelsea in the final third were terrible. It was shocking. It took the first goal for them to open up and get an equaliser. And they're 4th and we're 13th. And it's not good enough. It isn't. I thought Zirke, when he arrived, was diabolical. And he looks like a player. He looks like somebody who shouldn't be at Man United. I mean, every time he steps onto the Old Trafford pitch, it looks like he's seen a ghost. You know, his hair is going like the clappers, like Marwan Fellaini's hair. He doesn't provide assists. He's only got 1 goal, and that was against Fulham at Old Trafford, and that was a lucky finish. And he looks overweight to me. He's got to lose weight. He's got to step it up and not pile on the pounds. It's noticeable when he walks on that pitch, and he doesn't deserve to be on that football pitch. And I think he's been shocking signing so far. I know we can salvage it, and sometimes it does take a little bit of time to acclimatise and adjust to the Premier League. But he should be doing a lot better. And he shouldn't be doing nothing as he's doing so far. And I'm going to be fairly critical of this player because he just doesn't cut the mustard for me. So he's got to need to prove to me that he's got what it takes to be a Man United player. There's just something missing at the moment. I just don't get it. And he needs to be criticised for that, for not pulling his weight on that occasion. Garnacho again running through blind alleys. I thought the chance he had near the end, it would have been a fantastic goal. It would have been the goal probably of the game, despite Caicedo's strike, but he was leaning back. Materazzi had a good game. We defended very well from the front to back and vice versa. But I don't know whether this squad is good enough, and it shows how poor the recruitment has been. You know, Ahmed come off the bench, did next to nothing. You know, people rave about this kid. I don't get it. For me, I don't think he'll be at Man United for very long. I think he will leave. Obviously, his contract is up for debate. But for me, he's just a poor player. And he hasn't shown consistency. I don't see any personality in this team. I don't see any charisma in this team. We're going through the motions. And we might not get top 4. And the minus goal difference is really worrying. Because if we want to try and salvage the season and go up the table to try and get back into the Champions League berth, then we're going to need, by all accounts, to perform and get our skates on. So there's just something missing at the moment. But in terms of Ruud van Nistelrooy, I don't want him to be kept on once Amorim takes charge, which would be after the international break, which I think is a shame. I would have preferred him being in situ before the Leicester game next week. I think it's very important. I don't want any more jobs for the bloody boys. I don't want to see that. I think Ruud van Nistelrooy, whatever he does in the next 2 remaining games, he must not stay. Ole Gunnar Knobhead, I had the Knobhead part, destroyed his legacy. He wasn't a legend anymore. He might have been a legend as a footballer, but not as a manager. And Ruud van Nistelrooy is one of my favourite ever strikers. And for him to be continuously here after the new regime enters situ, I don't think that's a good move. And also, I blame the far top Reds why the season has started as it is. I do blame them. And I'll hold them to account and I'll call you out. And you know who you are and I know who you are. We used to have standards years ago at this football club. So I don't hear any topics go, we need Van Nistelrooy to stay in the coaching setup. No, let's just stop this. Do you see former Man City players in the Pep's coaching staff? Do you see Spurs former players in the Spurs coaching staff? The same with Aston Villa. The same with Arsenal. You don't. And this has got to stop. And Chelsea, I'd never wanted to have a growing mix. You know what I mean? We need to get into the 21st century and stop this, we need to do what we did in yesteryear. Those days have gone. You can't talk about them anymore. We need to get back on the straight and narrow and start acting like a big club again. And until these far toppers realise that, we're going nowhere. We're going to sink without trace. And all those players on the pitch and some on the bench, we need another rebuild. And that's going to take a while. But I am pleased we've got a new manager in situ. I'm glad that Ten Hag got the sack. I wasn't expecting him to get it on Monday. And I would also like to thank David Coote. And it puts paid to the myth that he's a Man United fan. Thank you for giving that penalty to West Ham and also to Michael Oliver. And I'm glad we lost that game. How about that? To get rid of the manager. And you won't hear that in anywhere else, but you hear it on here because I tell the truth. I don't sugarcoat anything. But it's a point. We take it away. We've got a European game next. We haven't won in over a year in Europe, so we need to get a win there. But all in all and overall, it was a good team performance. But for me, there's just still something missing. And it needs to be more current because I just don't get it at the moment. But nevertheless, it's a point against Chelsea. And we'll take whatever we take from that.